Simon & Schuster AudioWorks presents Star Trek: The Next Generation.
When we record like this, and I record on my laptop, that I have a ThinkPad, and the ThinkPads are known for having a little nipple on them, like they have the touchpad, right?
Rubber, they got a little red rubber thing.
They have the red nipple, on it, and I love using it. It's one of the better ways of interacting with a computer, in my opinion.
You like the little red rubber nipple?
Yeah, because it's very sensual. It's like when and that's in that. I don't think I feel like it's like that's what ThinkPads are very popular with engineers and stuff. Computer scientists. I feel like it should train you to become better lovers in a way, but I feel like that's not the case, which is unfortunate. And I love my rubber nipple.
What are you doing to that thing, man?
No, it's just you like browsing or something, and you need to move somewhere, and you have to be very delicate.
It's so sensual. I don't know. I feel like I'm imagining as soon as you try to move your mouse, you get some Marvin Gaye on and stuff.
Honestly, kind of true. Cause that's the thing, right? When I want to open a tab or I open an icon, I have to move fast, right? I put a lot of pressure on, and when I get closer, I take the pressure off. And it's I'm over the icon now. And
do you ever do it and you think to yourself, I'm like a master fingerer? Is that what's happening? Is that why it's sensual to you? Because you're like, no. if this were a vagina in front of me,
if this was
now.
Cronenberg-esque typewriter creature,
if this
right?
was do you think a Cronenberg ThinkPad would have it'd be like a vagina sort of creature?
Definitely, it would be, and it would have the ThinkPad nipple as a control method for the mouse. Exactly, absolutely. It'd
be right there at the top.
Exactly, and you use it exactly and I would be prepared for it. I would be like, yeah, this makes sense. This is I've used this before. I've ridden this path before.
Experience.
I've experience with this.
I have. This isn't my first rodeo.
I do quite a bit of fingering in my work.
Yeah, my work requires a good amount of rubbing little nubs. Sure. Yeah. Definitely. Wink.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you if it applies in any way to real life and to actual love making when I get to actually do some, but
See, I've got a similar thing where it's because as I use my Cintiq, I basically, every time I have to move the pen around, I'm imagining it's like a large, penis. Maybe a little more like a moderately sized penis.
Okay. Well, that's good.
And I'm just kind of gliding it around a screen, I guess. Which isn't really something you do to a penis usually, but
I know.
Just trying to keep it in the same wheelhouse, just trying to relate as best I can.
It teaches you wrong then. It teaches you the wrong thing to do to a penis.
Maybe that's why the birth rate is falling.
That's
because
true.
Computer interfacing with a computer is now too sexual.
It's true.
So it kills people's libido.
That's true.
Their drive.
I'm tuckered out because I've been using my ThinkPad nub for too long, today. Honey, my hands hurt. I can't think.
Baby, I'm sorry. I can't rub that clit. I've been using my ThinkPad all day, and I just, it's like taking your work home with you,
Exactly. You just can't.
I need to shut off. Like when people turn off their phone and they log out of their email and they're like, that's it. I'm disconnecting.
I'm disconnected for the day.
You're looking at your wife's vagina and you're like, I've disconnected.
I don't like mixing. I don't like mixing work with pleasure. I feel like those two things should stay separate.
I just want to jack off and go to bed. That's all I want to do.
Good thing I'm using a tablet, because then I wouldn't be able to jerk off, because it's like a penis when you hold a stylus for a tablet,
Yeah, see, that's my issue. It's hard to do that now. hard to just get. Not that the action is hard, just like you sort of think to go and do it. And you're like, man, I don't know, I can't be bothered. I just want to sit here and watch another episode of Better Call Saul.
Oh, really? Is that what you've been watching recently?
No, it's not. It's just the TV show that came to my mind when I said that.
It is very
just
funny.
The kind of show somebody might put on instead of jacking off. Just being like, I'll just watch it. Because it's like, it needs to be like an equivalent substitute, you know?
I guess, right? You get put good TV on, right? You wouldn't
but
say
not like too good.
Yeah.
like very engaging television, but not too good.
Okay, you know.
Because I would say there's
there's
definitely some TV shows that are much better than jacking off, you know, on the scale.
What can you give us an example? It's at the same time it will be an endorsement, I would imagine, right? But it put on the box.
Yeah, I need to think carefully. Definitely The Leftovers, probably. I would say
you might be finally selling me on Leftovers. If you're saying it's better than to jerk off. That's the selling tactic.
It's not so much. It's not so much better.
Telling me to
it's more just
this.
like. It's more just like when the kind of show that you sit down with the intent to watching an episode. You know,
okay.
Whereas Better Call Saul isn't so much like I'm gonna sit down and watch a Better Call Saul episode. It's more of like felt like more of a TV show where it's like, you know, I'm eating dinner. You know, I'm not really doing anything right now. I'll watch this for an hour, and you're like, that was a good episode. Same with jacking off, where you're like, I'm not really doing anything for the next 40 minutes. You know, I'll just I'll crank one out.
Crank one out. Why not?
Crank hog.
That's the noise I make when I crank my hog. It says crank, crank, crank. That's my onomatopoeia when there's a picture. It's a comic panel of my door closed, and it just goes crank, crank. You know, as and it signifies that I'm in my room cranking it. You know.
So it's not so much that The Leftovers is more fun than jacking off or anything. It's more like I'm sitting down to watch an episode. That's my intent. I would never be like, I could watch this episode or I could jack off instead. I would be like, well, I'm going to watch this episode because it's good. And sit down and watch this, you know. Well, that's just my 2 cents. Are there any TV shows out there you'd say are better than jacking off, or is your whole world revolve around masturbation?
So if I don't come up with one, that means then
you're like a chronic masturbator.
Then I'm chronic masturbator. Right?
That's how I read it, at least. Yeah.
I think I've heard Game of Thrones was pretty good. Apparently, can I say that?
You can't say a show you haven't watched. Doesn't make any sense. It's like going, I guess War and Peace is supposed to be really good. I haven't read it, but it's supposed to be like a classic or something, so probably you got to choose one that you've seen.
I choose
something
that
you at least have like some kind of investment in.
Okay. Then there was a Czech cartoon or like an animation. It was like about two neighbors and they go into trouble every episode. That was pretty good. They're called Matt and Pat. It was pretty fun. All neighbors in Polish.
Okay. You'd rather, if you had the option of watching an episode of that or jacking off, you'd be like, yeah, I'll watch it.
I'll watch that. Yeah, I'll watch Matt and Pat like getting into hijinks. You know, it is a fun series of two guys trying to do something and completely and utterly failing. It is a very, very endearing, you know. And I honestly, kind of canonically, probably partners, cool. You know, same-sex partners, Matt and Pat, honestly.
Matt and Pat?
Yeah.
Super best friends, remember?
Super best friends? There was
Matt and Pat as well.
Were they? Okay.
Game Theory, Matt Pat.
It all stems from the Czech, you know, cartoon. Yeah. Not cartoon, as an animation, because it's stop-motion animation.
I guess, saw it, and they were like, hell yeah.
Yeah, Matt and Pat. And then
Matt and Pat. And then, Game Theory, you know, Five Nights at Freddy's, Matt Pat.
Matt Pat, combine them.
Remember how he was in the movie?
Yeah,
do you remember his cameo? And he was like, some say breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Well, that's a theory, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That was great. That was a good cameo, wasn't it?
I can't wait for the next Friday 585 right funking movie.
Yeah. Looking forward to seeing Golden Freddy again.
Do you think they'll make one?
They are
have
making
to,
one right now.
They're making one?
They're in production of one right now, yeah.
Okay.
It got greenlit like pretty quickly after the first one.
Yeah, because it made like $1 bajillion, I would imagine, right?
I don't think it made $1 bajillion, but it's one of those. It's the Blumhouse thing where the budget was low, so as long as it was like moderately successful, they're like, yeah, we'll make another one. Enough people wanted to see Five Nights at Freddy.
Yeah, ironically,
so let's get at it again. It's a bit ironic.
It was a pretty bad movie. Especially with the weird flashbacks.
I guess it was like it's hard similar to the Minecraft movie. It's a little hard for me to tell whether it's bad or not because I'm like, I don't know. Maybe there's a lot to it if you're a fan already.
Yeah, but I've watched all the MatPat videos to catch up on the lore. You know.
It was fine. Same with the Minecraft movie. It was the kind of movie where I was like, I'd take like a niece or a nephew to this, you know, like a little cousin or something. Like, let's go see a movie, and they'd probably get a kick out of it. Does that mean it's bad? I don't know. Maybe for me, at my age range, but
yeah, because you're smarter than a child, right?
I don't know, man. I tried the Wordle again yesterday. I'm very slow. I don't think I'm an unintelligent person, but I am exceedingly slow. I'm not very quick-witted.
I'm a dumb bitch because I can't do any of those word things. I can't do them at all. I'm dyslexic.
Yeah, but that's not like a dumbness thing, though.
I'm like dumb. Completely,
the thing with me is
stupid.
that I get like stuck. I'll get like 2 letters and then see all of the available letters on my keyboard, and I won't be able to think of a word for like 30 straight minutes. I'll just be typing in random letters like Zoxel, Zipple.
Brother, I'm stuck in the Wordle. Please help me. That sort of stuff.
Be a good maybe like a college humor type sketch.
Yeah.
What is it with step siblings and getting stuck, huh?
It's a dropout now. It's not college humor anymore, right?
I don't know, man.
They
my
moved on.
Cultural reference is starting to age out now. You know, I'm getting to the age where I'm like, I'm just losing a frame of reference for
relevance.
Maybe we should have said like, oh, that's a real Nelk Boys bit. That's the thing,
I don't
right?
even know
People
that.
like Nelk Boys.
I don't know who you're talking about.
I don't know anything about them. I saw that Adam Friedland talked to one of them, and I watched like 10 minutes. No, I watched like 5 minutes of it, and I was like, I don't know who this guy is.
Yeah, because he was like naming all the like obscure facts about him, like what's he called, Nerdle or whatever, the Nurgle.
Whatever. He might be Nurgle in that he's demonic. I couldn't follow. I had to turn it off. I couldn't follow.
No.
I was like, I don't know who this guy is.
Do the intro because you're trying to do an intro.
Give me the Anthony Fantano one. I know that guy.
Yeah, I know that.
I know what he said about My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy 15 years ago at this point. Anyway, welcome to Dead Ends. This is the world's greatest podcast. I'm Ben. This is Max.
This is me.
Oh, Max, I've had a doozy of a week. You've had a nothing.
Yeah, I had a nothing. I've been...
How much of a nothing, would you say?
Just kind of much of nothing, honestly. It's really hot where I am in an undisclosed location. I'm just kind of...
It's very hot in an undisclosed location for me too, as well.
Yeah, and just work's been going slow. Just like, I'm outside the home, but I'm working at the same time, and it's like, I don't even get to enjoy myself not being outside the home. You know, that sort of thing.
You played a bit more Expedition 33, didn't you?
A little bit. Not much.
I got to the end of Act 1 Monday, a few days ago. And then I started, or not Act 2. I can't remember. I keep forgetting which, because I can't remember if the first... I think it was Act 1 prologue and then Act 2 Gustav, right? Either way, I got to the end of the Gustav act.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm enjoying it, but I keep having this thing where I don't know if it's because I just have off days, so my timing isn't as good, or if it's just like sometimes my PC is chugging, so it's difficult to get the timing of the parries and stuff. But some days I just completely eat shit, and I'm like, I have to stop playing this game for like... I haven't played it for like 2 days. So the last time I played it, I was just getting so pissed off at trying to dodge and parry shit. And just not getting the timing at all, and I was like, I have to take a break from this game. I gotta stop. Or else I'm gonna get too annoyed, and then it's gonna affect how I feel about it. You know, my experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think
it's mostly my PC.
I've been doing all the like end gamey stuff basically, where I go through the optional dungeons, and those fights can be big fuck. You know, where it's like I'm sometimes find myself in a way where I'm like, I don't think I should be doing this right now. You know, like I don't think I should be doing this dungeon because I'm fighting this boss for like 10 minutes. You know, I'm just like dodging and parrying and dodging, and I'm like doing barely any damage. I'm like, I shouldn't be here.
Yeah, you gotta optimize better, man.
But it's like,
you gotta optimize all your guys to perfection.
True.
I think that you can get to level 99, I'm pretty sure, because I was looking at the achievements and there's a reach level 99 one, so...
Yeah.
I guess you can grind it up if you want to.
There's a maximum level, I guess it must be 99 because your attributes go up to 99, so I feel like it will also be your top level also being 99. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I do enjoy it, but it's just I haven't had the time basically to kind of sit down and focus on playing it. And also I did kind of hit a wall in a way where my party isn't evenly good because I haven't been using my other guys in my party. Mm-hmm. So, you know.
Well, they level up a bit, but you need to make sure they get some work too. It's not that hard. I mean, I already got to one like very easy grinding spot early on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That just would like shot me right up to like level 27 after the Gestural village. So it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, I think maybe that's what I just need to do. Just kind of grind out a bit, where just sit there and like do like basic fights or something. There's a spot that does kind of is literally, I feel like it is literally begging to be like the spot where you grind out basically the game. So I might.
For me early on, it was like there's the little fighting arena thing you can go to, the wrestling arena thing. And there's one guy who nets a ton of experience, and his attacks, the timing on his attacks parrying, are like incredibly easy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But you have to do fights one at a time, so it takes a while. But everybody shoots up to like near 30s easy.
Okay, yeah.
Over the course of like an hour. So I think there's probably more stuff like that later in the game, I imagine.
Yeah, and just in general, just like trying to optimize for like particular builds and stuff. There's so much variety that you can have to your builds that it is kind of hard to even pick. Like I feel like I do kind of struggle to pick a focus.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I'm a little paralyzed by choice, and I can see all the little tiny different avenues, but it's like I don't know what I keep that's one thing that's frustrating me about the game. Is I get to the little like fucking level up screen, and I want to level up their stats and stuff. But my choice of what I level up with the stats is kind of based on what weapon I have equipped. But I'm not going to have the same weapon equipped every time. So if I swap out weapon, then all of a sudden the stats I've done before are now not as good because I'm not focusing on the like scaling of that weapon instead. And it kind of pisses me off because I get to the attribute screen and I'm like, I just don't know what to do. I just feel lost.
True. Like the thing is that at least the game is pretty generous with the like I don't remember what they were called, the item that allows you to reset things.
The reset, the respecking stuff. Yeah,
the respecking recoats exactly because it's all painting themed. But exactly. So
you do get quite a few of those.
I think I only respect once, and I went through the entire game. So if I need to respec, basically do like the final respec before I finish the game, basically, I feel like I have 30 of them at this point. So, it's like, it's not
more
like
than enough to go like, okay, I want this character to be this. So you just you recoat the what can you recoat? You can recoat their attributes and their skills, I think, right?
You can recoat their attributes, you can recoat their skills, and you can recoat, I think, do the weapons recoat in some way? I don't know. I don't think so, but it's...
I don't remember. There is another recoat, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. I can't remember what it is.
But,
yeah.
But I enjoyed it. You've been enjoying it, though?
I have been enjoying it overall. Yeah. I just keep getting this... Because it's like... I also started playing the first Final Fantasy this week, so got out my Vita.
Oh, yeah.
I fiddled with it a bit, and now I have games on it. And I was like, this one can be my little, like...
Legal games. Yes, legal.
Yeah. And I was like, I'll play some RPGs and stuff on this when I'm on the go, or if I'm in bed or something.
Yeah.
So I started with Final Fantasy 1, and you have very clear progression, right? You have a white mage, you're going to want him to heal, really, and do status-based stuff. But in this game, it's like you've just got so many options.
Yeah.
Every character has their own subsystem, and all of their subsystems have like 3 or 4 different ways that you can build them just from the get-go. Yeah. Like Mael has a whole thing with like applying burn and making burn stronger and stuff.
Yes.
And I feel like I'm playing I'm not playing to anybody's strengths. I'm kind of just flattening them out a bit too much,
Yeah. It is
when I need to just be like, you know what? No, I'll do the Mael Fire thing. I'll just go all in on the Mael Fire thing. That can be her thing, but I haven't done that yet. Maybe I should.
But that's the thing. On the top of it, you can get yourself caught in a trap. There's an ability, like characters that, like enemies that take advantage of that. They absorb this sort of this elemental damage and stuff like that. You can get yourself really caught in like a really dumb place, basically, if you focus just on that. But at the same time, I feel like because of the, like, especially from this perspective of someone who's doing the side quests now at the end of the game, is like, I guess maybe the recode's supposed to be kind of for that, where it's like, I'm stuck on this fight, and it's like, I guess I'll recode and try something different, because you get quite a lot of them.
Mix it up a bit.
But the game, when I said, the thing that I like about the game is that I do feel like this game has a lot of DNA from games like Slay the Spire and like even Binding of Isaac when it comes to synergies between the different things. Yeah. Like the building of synergy is very important in this game, and I always enjoyed that sort of challenge, like building up these like obscure little things, triggers. They kind of remind me of, I don't know if you ever heard of games, like a term for board games where they're called factory building games, engine building games, where you build an engine to produce certain things, and it like each character in this game has its own engine with its own sort of focused mechanic, like you said, right?
They're very reliant on each other though as well.
Yeah, exactly. So you can kind of
be, I suppose they can be. They don't need to be.
Exactly. So you can have you have how many engines, and those engines then cross paths with each other in different ways, and you can capitalize on that. So, but at the same time, you get the thing that you spoke about, which is fucking the choice. There's so much choices, you're not really sure what you should be building at the start.
And as you're going through the story, that you just get hit with so many variables on what enemies will be weak to, or resistant to, or even like absorb damage wise.
Yeah.
I just feel like it would be a waste for me to commit to anything at this point,
Exactly,
But then sometimes I get to an optional boss and I start fighting them, and I'm like, this guy is fucking annoying because I'm not like built in a way to chunk them down very easily. So I just have to like struggle against them a bit, and then that's where my inability to parry stuff comes in, and I just start to get frustrated. And I'm like, fuck, and it's not the game's fault, but. That's why I have to take a break, because I'm like, I don't want to get too tainted by my anger.
I do feel a little bit that at the same time, the parrying mechanic and the dodge mechanic is fun. Like it gets you kind of engaged and to read the enemies and stuff like that and memorize it. But at the same time, it does feel like it's that progression gets a little bit lost. You know, in a way, it's less clear because it's like sometimes you can do a fight really easily because you really get that timing down, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then because for some reason you just got lucky with this part of the game and you got the timing down, you might not be as rich with XP because you haven't redone that that part of the game as much, and then you move on and suddenly you get your ass kicked because you're under-leveled, you know? And
well, I think the game has a pretty good level curve.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've noticed, but once you're at like the level an area is once you're at the level that an area is designed around, things just basically give you no experience whatsoever. It's like one level, it's like one level, something will give you like half an experience bar, and then next level will give you like a 10th, and then after that it gives you basically nothing, you know?
Yeah.
So I think in that sense, I kind of disagree. I think the game's pretty good when it comes to leveling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just I haven't been grinding, at least as far as that's the thing. Yeah. When I played this game, I haven't been stuck in a place grinding a place.
See,
because
I like grinding.
I've been that's the thing. Instead of grinding, my instinct was to bash my head against the boss until I beat it, instead of grinding up to try to beat it, you know, making it easier. That's the kind of, I guess, the different, you got a different playstyle there where like me being dumb basically and going like, all right, I'm gonna fucking parry and dodge every single attack, you know, because I'm
but I think that's person, the strength of the game, is that it allows you to do that. You can fight super hard guys very early. There's like a lot of optional bosses right from the get-go that you can fight that are really fucking hard and will kill you instantly. Yeah. Or you can just parry them. And you might not do a lot of damage to them, but you can just keep parrying them and they can't do shit to you anyway. So don't worry about it.
Exactly. You know,
you just gotta do it absolutely perfectly every single time and you'll be able to kill them early.
It would be interesting to see like speedruns for this game and see people like progress through the game in a way where they go to like the final boss or something and they like, because they, of course, the speedrunners, they memorized every single attack, every single timing, and somehow they're able to like complete the game within like 2 hours or something.
So I think when the game came out, people added mods to the game that made it so you could do like insanely hard stat difficulties where enemies had like 300% extra damage or something, right? And then I think like a couple weeks ago or a month ago or something, they just updated to add that to the game inherently. It's like, you can just play and have the enemies have like 500% damage increase. That's fine.
There is a challenge like section that you can go into, and you have modifiers there that do stuff. But so I didn't realize that was in there, I guess, because I haven't played it originally when it came out. So that is interesting that they kind of allowed for replayability. In that case,
they lean into it because I think a lot of people like that aspect of it, where it's like, as long as you just parry stuff good, you'll be totally fine.
Yeah, and it's overall,
and dodging is also an option. It doesn't net you as much stuff, but the window is larger, so it's a bit easier.
Yeah, exactly, and it's a risk-reward thing, and it's like, depending, sometimes there's like, even with the pictos, the things that give you modifiers, there are modifiers that do on dodge, things, and it's like you can build your character around just dodging and stuff like that. So it is interesting that you have all these options, but that's the thing. At this point, I'm really enjoying the game. I'm curious how, because I've been enjoying the story up to this point, basically, that I got to, but there is a little like doubt that I had at some point to the point where it will be interesting to finish the game to see if this is going to pay off in the end. The little thing
we can talk about that when we finish, though, I guess, because I've also been enjoying the story, but I'm not as far as you, so I've got a lot left to do.
I'm gonna have to throw barrels
not much
at you.
Talking about it now, because why would you throw barrels?
To slow you down. You're like Donkey Kong,
You'll beat it before I do.
I don't know. Maybe not if I don't play it for like the next week or
I
two.
I don't think I'm gonna be here in the next 2 weeks, man.
Because it's too hot. It's too hot. You can't focus.
My dude, it just doesn't run on my PC very well.
Yeah,
like it's
unfortunately,
it's like it hurts because the animations I'm supposed to be reading are more difficult to read because they stutter a little bit, so I can't. And added on top of that, I'm already not very good at reading animations to begin with.
Yeah.
So it just compounds, and I just have to wait until I get hit a couple times, and hopefully my brain starts to learn the rhythm of it rather than the visuals, you know?
Mm-hmm. Any enemy that thrusts at you without pulling back first can absolutely suck a cock. That's what all I'm going to say about this game.
There's a couple of those.
Yeah.
Some don't have lined up.
Yeah.
Some you got to listen for sounds. Some you like wait for like a visual. I kind of like that there's variation in it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like some enemies, you're better off just waiting. Some enemies, you want to look to see where something is on the screen, you know?
Yeah.
I kind of like that there's variation to reading enemies. I just wish I had a better computer to run this game.
Unfortunately, you're not allowed to like this game because it's made by French people. And as we know,
true.
The British and French don't like each other. You know,
true. That is very true. I've heard this.
You've heard this. You heard that. That's the blood feud that you need to take part in. Like it's just in the blood. You have to do it. You have to have hatred.
The Battle of Hastings coursing through my veins, even though I don't. I actually don't think there's too much like Anglo in my blood, to be honest.
Okay.
I don't know how far. I don't think the Anglo side of me is that rich.
I think I have some like French somewhere, like 4 generations back or something.
I don't have
that.
any French. I have a little Canadian, which is kind of like France, but some people would say worse. I do love poutine. That's true. I do love poutine.
Poutine. What do they say? They say péton, right? Or something like that. Péton. Well, no, in the game when they swear, they say puta, or something like that.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Whatever. Who cares about French?
Putain.
They say putain. They say putang. Anyway.
Good game so far. Thumbs up.
Yeah.
Did I talk about Spaceballs last week? I can't remember.
No, you have not.
Tenet. Spaceballs was the start of my week. I watched Spaceballs for the first time.
What did you think about Space? What got you to watch? What got you to watch Spaceball? Is there like a particular reason why?
I wanted to watch it. I was like, a couple of the films this week I was going to talk about. I was going to watch it with some friends. So, Spaceballs. It's the most interesting thing about this movie is how much of a cult following it has, because I think this movie is really bad.
I haven't watched it in a while. I thought it was funny.
I don't think the movie is very funny.
And at least I like the costume design was fun, like the props and things, the big helmet, that he wears and things like that.
I think I just don't vibe too much with Mel Brooks.
Oh, maybe.
I don't know why. I think the only other Mel Brooks film I've seen off the top of my head is Blazing Saddles.
Maybe watch The Producers.
Yeah, maybe I should watch The Producers. But Spaceballs was kind of not very good, I think. The thing with Spaceballs, I felt, is that all of the jokes feel like they have a pause for laughter afterwards, and it throws off all of the timing to me. Because it always feels like it's waiting for me to finish laughing before they keep doing the rest of the movie, and I'm not laughing. So it's just every joke is like an awkward pause afterwards. I'm just waiting to be over so that they keep doing the movie.
Yeah.
There's some fun, there's some fun meta jokes in there. I like the gag where they watch the movie to find out what they're to do next is funny. There are some good jokes in there, but overall, I'm surprised how much love the film has.
It's just a classic,
it is classic, isn't it?
And also guess Star Wars, shitting on Star Wars, sort of thing. I guess it's like funny, haha, because it's a popular thing, so let's make a parody of that,
No, definitely. It feels like it's not, I don't know. It doesn't feel like it's too biting, though, of a parody,
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like it really makes fun of Star Wars that much. It feels like it's just a I don't know how to describe it.
It literally has Chewie and Chewbacca and Han Solo and RV.
I'm struggling to articulate what I mean. There's
saying...
a level of meanness missing, It's parody in the sense that it's like, what if Chewbacca was a big dog? But it's not. There's not really any substance there for me.
Yeah. So what you're saying is not making fun of Star Wars or what it is. It's just borrowing imagery from Star Wars and not actually making fun of Star Wars.
Like that is parody of, like it is a parody of Star Wars, but not in any way that I think is particularly funny or interesting.
Yeah.
It just kind of uses a lot of the imagery. Like what if the Millennium Falcon was a Winnebago with wings? And the Death Star becomes like a giant maid or something and it starts sucking up air. It's like
And what if they had instead of lightsabers they had cock rings that were lightsabers,
I think the most they do is like the phallic jokes with the lightsabers and the merchandising jokes with the Yoda guy. He's got the whole like the Spaceballs merchandise all over the film, like Spaceballs bath towels and Spaceballs figures and stuff. Or it's like that's more of a direct joke at the expense of Star Wars, right? But everything else doesn't feel like it's really at the expense of Star Wars. It's just a mirror of it, a reflective of it,
Maybe we're all a reflection of Star Wars. But isn't there like a remake happening for Spaceballs?
No, they're doing a second one.
Yeah, exactly. So I thought
they have a joke. They have a joke in Spaceballs 1 where the Yoda guy says, "I'll see you again in Spaceballs 2, the search for more cash" or something. And now they're finally doing Spaceballs 2. Finally.
And they're searching for more cash, right?
I guess so. Let me look up Spaceballs 2, because I don't really know anything about Spaceballs 2. Spaceballs 2. The secret's in the early stages of development, apparently. It's being done by MGM, Amazon MGM.
Oh, okay.
It's got
I guess they must have owned the IP in some way.
What? Disney?
What?
No, Amazon and MGM.
I said they must have owned the IP, like someone, like who owns the IP.
I thought you said. I thought you said Disney must own the IP or something. I was like, huh? Huh? Anyway, they've casted it, but I don't know if they've started filming it. Anyway, Spaceballs.
You've been casted, actually. It says here on the list.
Oh, they've got me in there. Who am I playing?
Yeah, you're playing the guy that is selling the cock ring swords. I don't know.
Am I playing Pizza Hut Jr.? Pizza the Hut Jr.? Remember Pizza the Hut?
Oh, yeah.
That was a good gag, wasn't it? It was like pizza.
Yeah.
He was like a pizza monster.
Yes, because the hut in the name also. Yeah. And also,
there were a lot of fast food jokes in there.
We have a Star Trek connection. Tim Russ, he says, we ain't found shit. There you go.
The guy who said we ain't found shit.
We're
one
officially
of the, black guys in the desert, so combing the desert, but they have the Afro comb.
Yeah, and
classic
officially
gag.
Star Trek reference for the episode done.
That was a good joke, but unfortunately I've already seen that clip like a million times, so I didn't really laugh when it came up because I knew
this. Yeah.
Like when I first saw that on the internet when I hadn't seen Spaceballs, I was like, "Oh, that's funny. This movie must be funny." And then I never didn't watch it for like 15 years.
Yeah, like that's the thing about because I feel like Naked Gun and stuff like that. It's so full of jokes that you watch it.
Zucker Brothers movies are funny. I love Zucker Brother parody or spoof movies, right? Top Secret, Airplane, Naked Gun, like you said. Because police Squad.
They're so full of jokes that you all watch them and you always find something new. But because this is their jokes are so obvious and in like your face that you're like, oh, I know this. I heard about this joke already. There's nothing really interesting in there, you know. Maybe I should rewatch Spaceballs. You know,
that and lots of Jew jokes as well.
Well,
in Spaceballs, there's a lot of Jewish-based humor in there.
Yeah.
Like the planet that the lady is from is planet Druig or something.
Okay.
And they keep saying they have a whole bit where they're talking about how Druish she is.
Oh, okay.
And stuff like that. Obviously,
Awesome.
the Yoda character Mel Brooks is playing is very stereotypical. Then they have the joke about how his little emblem is written in Yiddish or something.
Okay.
Either way, I didn't like it very much, but your mileage may vary.
Mm-hmm. Your Spaceballs may vary. Your
Spaceballs
air may vary. I don't know. Anyway,
I give it 1 ball out of 5. Spaceballs. Anyway, I'm just gonna have to go through all my movies. K-pop Demon Hunters.
Oh yeah, is this animated, right?
Sony animated picture on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't too interested in watching this because I'd seen the trailers, and the immediate thinking I got from it is that it is maximal social media engagement machine. I feel like every single shot in the trailer is boarded, composed, and animated in a way to make like a GIF, basically,
to make it shareable,
a popular GIF.
Yeah. That's...
I don't think there's, and just to be clear, I think they definitely had fun animating it. I don't think anybody was held at gunpoint to go make it more memeable. But, and it's a trend with a lot of movies these days, a lot of mainstream films, animated as well, especially.
We already spoke about it, at some point where it's like
the fact that it needs to be, a level of the marketing needs to exist online, right?
Yeah,
it needs to exist within GIFs, and clippable moments, you know,
made to be shareable, and the scene has to be like framed in a way where you can put like an impact font there and stuff like that. It's it's interesting.
And this movie is one of the most egregious abusers of that kind of.
Is this a full length? Is this a full length movie?
It was I think it was like hour 40. Let me double check. Yeah, it's like can never remember where they put the runtime in on Letterboxd. It's 96 minutes, you know?
Yeah, okay.
Not too bad. But despite that, it was still very well directed. I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would. It's got a lot of nice animation, a lot of good little cartoony jokes and stuff. I'm not a big K-pop guy, so I don't really know anything about it. But, you know, some of the songs were pretty catchy, I guess. Cool musical numbers.
Is it like diegetic music in terms of like the characters are playing the music in a way?
They're singing it. They're singing it.
Okay.
A K-pop band who are also demon hunters. So the story is that in Korean history, there were 3 musical warriors, basically, throughout time. This role gets passed down throughout time, and they protect people from evil and demons and stuff by singing and fighting demons. And the natural progression of like folk singers who would have been doing this has now become K-pop, you know, a worldwide phenomenon.
Okay.
Which makes me do you think the Beatles were probably demon hunters? I feel like they must have people like this in every region, right?
You would imagine, yeah. That's very much
the Beatles demon hunters.
Beatles. Ringo, I'm gonna kill this demon.
Look out, Ringo! There's a demon behind you.
Let's get into our yellow submarine that has blades on it.
It's like a spinning.
Twine.
It's like the bus they make in like
Yeah.
The Living Dead or whatever, the one in the hall.
Yeah.
Zack Steiner one.
It has like spikes and fucking blades coming of it.
Yeah.
There were legendary demon hunters, and every culture gets their own, you know.
I would hope so. Otherwise,
Americans
the rest of the
get
world
Bob
is
Dylan.
fucked, man. Korea's like saved, but the rest of the world is fucked.
Mm-hmm.
No, America would be maybe like the Beach Boys or something. Because I think they got to be a group. They have to like watch each other's back.
I guess, right? It can't be solo acts.
Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Gang.
Mm-hmm.
They'd probably be good demon hunters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Metallica. Anyway, but the movie was still pretty good. It was fun. I liked it. I liked it overall.
Mm-hmm.
It was good. I don't know if I'd recommend it if you're like an animation person or you got like you need to entertain like a young teen, maybe a little kid. Maybe you would enjoy it a bit more. I mean, it's all nice. There's some fun jokes in there. It's good. Max, here's one for you, buddy.
Yeah? This is something you're recommending?
No, it's something you recommended.
Okay, alright.
I watched Oba.
Oh, shit, man.
Yeah. Because I've had the tab open for a long time, and I was looking at it, and I was like, I need to just watch this film instead of just leaving it open as a tab.
It's a weird-ass movie.
It is a weird movie. I liked it a lot, though. It's cool.
Mm-hmm. A lot of very striking, cool broad imagery in that film.
Yeah, I liked how tight and claustrophobic it felt. I loved the scene when he follows the guy down into his freezer.
Oh yeah, it's like, so fun.
We'll just wait in here because everything outside will get colder than it is in here.
Yeah,
in this temperature-controlled fridge.
Yeah,
so we'll just sit in here and wait for the ark to turn up. And then he's like, "Oh, that's crazy." And then he goes over and he moves the curtain away. And he's like, "Yeah, and I've frozen some women for us too." And there's just like two frozen corpses in a glass case. And Softs, the main character, is just like,
I'm gonna just
cool. I'll see you later. And he leaves and locks him in there.
Locks him in there too. Like, it's so fucked. Like, it's terrifying. But yeah, I love. There's very cool, like little scenes. Like, I love where he's like, I need to find something to get these fucking people to, like, because the entire theme of it is like giving up, right? It's like these people gave up on life. They're just waiting to be saved by the ark, right?
Yeah.
And they're just like roaming. They're like just standing.
They're just standing around waiting for death. Nobody wants to like. There are a couple characters that accept death. There are some that are like still hoping that this ark will turn up. But ultimately, the thing everybody's not saying is that they're all going to die very soon. The dome is going to collapse, and they're all just going to freeze to death in the nuclear apocalypse.
There is that scene where he goes like, I need to find the Bible. Like, that's where I'll find the Bible. And he goes to like where the books are, and he's like, all the books were taken by like the food people or whatever, like the food processing guys. And it turns out they've been turning all of human knowledge into pulp that they didn't feed to people. Yeah. And it's like,
it's a filler. Man. It's a filler for bread, basically.
Yeah, it's like, like the scene is so fun. Like he takes the hard cover of it, and he goes like, "Where is the pages?" He's like, "Oh, who cares about the pages in the book? Who gives a fuck?"
You just put a load of white pieces of paper inside. People will think it's real.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, but I need the content. So, like, and there's just and like the ending of the movie where you got the collapsing and all these people are like reaching. It's so like insane looking, like
it's very beautiful. It's very lovely looking.
A very
horrible, obviously, but
very good. I feel like a very good example of like Polish cinema and the kind of like melancholy that unfortunately the Eastern Europeans or whatever are pretty good at.
What's that thing that the cyberpunk director from CD Projekt Red said this week, where he's like, in Poland we're really sad, and I wanted to make the rest of the world sad with
anime. And it makes me happy when I know that I made people sad. It makes me happy
when everybody else is sad.
It's
like, all right.
Exactly. So, I feel like it's but yeah, I'm glad that you watched it, and the acting, the performances are kind of all over the place, even from like a perspective. Because sometimes when you watch like foreign cinema, you're like, is this good acting or bad acting? So it's like, it's kind of all over the place in that movie. Different calibers of actors there.
I wasn't too concerned with it because it didn't feel like the acting was either good or serviceable,
Exactly,
There was nobody. Everything else in the movie was so well done that even if somebody wasn't particularly good at acting in it, I was still like, I'm still engaged,
Yeah, and when he buys that onion so he can cry, finally, cuts it and stuff so he can actually release like the build-up emotion that he has in it. It's so funny. But yeah,
the guy comes in to tell him something and he's sniffing around. And he's
like, he's that It's so... But yeah, I recommend Gollum if you want to see something even more. It's like a monodrama. It's the same director, and it's very much an Ilya movie, I think, and it's really some really good performances. That, for example, if you want to see like a comparison between good acting and something like that's the thing is but yeah, it's I'm glad that you watched it and enjoyed it. And everyone, if anyone else wants to see it, it's free on YouTube. Oba, The End of Civilization.
Yeah.
You can just, if you want to expose yourself to some foreign cinema, Google it.
Type it in.
Don't chat GPT it. Google it.
Yeah, you don't need to chat GPT it. They won't know what you're talking about.
Grok.
You'll be like, chat GPT, can you give me a link to Oba? And it will say, wow, you need a link to that movie? That's an incredible idea. This is why you're one of the top people that's ever talked to me before. I love you. And then they don't give you a link.
You watched anything else?
I rewatched Wet Hot American Summer. Still love it. Classic for me. Friendship.
Oh,
so we were going to record on Tuesday. Yeah, we were going to record on Tuesday, but I had a ticket to go and see that on Tuesday, and I forgot because you couldn't record Monday. And then I was like, "Oh wait, I have a ticket for Friendship on Tuesday, and I want to go see that."
You sacrificed our friendship to see Friendship at cinemas.
Well, that might have been a good idea because the main message of the movie is that men shouldn't have friends.
That's true.
It's true. It's true.
I'm no man. No. Yeah. But,
I liked it. I think it's. I don't think it's not revolutionary. It's not like super groundbreaking or anything. It's just a very well done modern comedy, I'd say. Especially if you're in the mindset of I think you should leave Tim Robbins and stuff, because it is for the most part like a feature length one of the better sketches from that show.
Yeah.
It's all just Tim Robinson interacting with people in the way that you would expect him to in a piece of fiction. He's weird. He says stuff very strange. He acts weird and behaves strangely. But the rest of I think the main difference between an I Think You Should Leave sketch and Friendship is that the people around him aren't as weird as they are in like one of the sketches, because everybody in those sketches usually talks very strangely, right?
Yeah.
But in Friendship, people generally are pretty normal, except for Tim Robinson.
Except for Tim, yeah.
Yeah. But I liked it. No, it's funny. Lots and lots of jokes. There were lots of great scenes. The cinematography was a lot better than I thought it'd be as well. There were some very well shot scenes. And some really well done little bits, No, I liked it. I'd recommend it. I think you'd enjoy it.
Yeah, because I'm so basic. I'm a soy man that enjoys Tim Robinson.
I'm enjoying it too. So what does that say about me?
Exactly.
By putting that on yourself, you also put it on me, and I don't accept it.
Well, I don't care what you think, actually. we're not friends anymore. Our friendship ended
when somebody
with Ben.
is like, oh, if something bad happened to me, I would probably just like kill myself immediately because I don't think I could ever live like that in my entire life. Yeah. Except for you, you know, you it's fine on you, you know. It's you're stronger than I am. I wouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah, maybe you are, but you got Superman. You can't go see Superman because you're not allowed to enjoy that movie, from what I heard. So
what? Why not?
Isn't people are like, because it's Zack Snyder hasn't made it, so it's bad, therefore?
No, that means I have to support it regardless of whether it's good or bad. Because I'm in the opposite camp, where I think he's easily one of the worst filmmakers that consistently gets work.
That's true. I wish they made more Rebel Moon instead of Superman.
Let's have a quick Rebel Moon update before I get into my last film, and we can talk about Superman a bit more. Let's get a little Rebel Moon update. Franchise sequels.
Anything moving in the works?
Let's see. Let's see. April 2024, co-writer Kirk Johnstad clarified that though the original plan was for a trilogy of movies, franchise will eventually consist of a total of 6 films, explaining that the stories for each original installment have been expanded into 2 parts. So it's a trilogy of 2-parters.
What are you talking
Well, that's good. I can't wait. The writer stated that the treatments are completed for the 3rd and 4th movie, and Snyder is currently writing the 3rd film. That's awesome, dude. On the same day, Snyder stated that the total number of films in the series will be either 4 or 6, depending on whether or not the 2nd and 3rd entries of the trilogy each get split into 2 parts of the movies as well. Okay, that's great news, right?
That's great news, I guess. I
can probably stop reading the paragraph on Wikipedia there, but you know, it's only a short sentence. It's probably a short sentence at the end of saying like, "Oh, they began production on them" or something. So let me just read it. However, in May 2025, Johnstad stated, that's the guy that I mentioned before.
Yeah.
Anyway, what did he state? Stated that the sequels were no longer moving forward. Well, that's
no, that's a shame.
I thought this was Zack Snyder's like, this is his big
Star
thing.
Wars.
Like this is my Star Wars. This is good. This is the thing I've wanted to make for like 35 years of my life or something.
Yeah, when he was like back in the day, early on, he came into the LucasWorks or whatever, and they were like, he was like, I want to direct Star Wars. He told them no, and they made the right choice. It seems they made the right choice. They were like, yeah, obviously we're not gonna give him Star Wars.
He remember how he was in college and he was like, I wrote this huge script. It was like Star Wars meets Seven Samurai, and I gave it to my professor, and my professor was like, this is the most incredible thing I've ever read. Remember that?
I was there. I was the professor.
You were the professor. You said it was the most incredible thing you ever read, and then we watched it, and you can find out Max's thoughts by going back to those episodes. We don't have to go into it now. Anyway.
But I reincarnated. I died as that professor. Heart attack. Yeah, heart attack in an orgy.
Okay, well that's a little less sad.
Yeah,
I guess.
Is that a smile on my face?
Yeah, but I guess it ruins the orgy, doesn't it?
Yeah, unfortunately, they didn't realize I was dead for a while.
Unless you have a heart attack, like right at the end. Maybe. Yeah. Once everybody's already wound down and they're like, wow, what a good orgy. Everybody, wait a minute. No, the professor, he's dead.
He's dead. I used that I used all that experience from my previous life to work with my ThinkPad nub. That's what I use it for.
You're tapping into like a previous incarnation.
Yeah, my spirit,
in order to move that little nub so dexterously.
Yeah. My spirit lend me your strength, you know. But anyway, what else? Is that it?
No, I watched one more film today. I couldn't think of what to watch, so I decided I'd like get up the Criterion Collection.
Okay.
Do a little random number generator for the whole thing. And go like, all right, that film. Let's give that a watch. So I watched an Indian film. A Bengali film from, what year was it? 1964. It's called Charulata.
Yeah.
It was good.
Okay.
It's a movie about a lonely woman. She's married to a husband who's very preoccupied with his newspaper and getting his newspaper started and everything. So she's very lonely. Her husband's cousin finishes college and moves in. And he's a writer. And he ends up inspiring her to continue writing because she's a very good writer.
Yeah.
But along the way they kind of build it's like an emotional affair, you know. Where it's like they kind of fall in love, but they don't get up to anything, you know. But there's obviously a very strong emotional connection. And there's a lot of there's a lot of good stuff in it. It's a good movie. It's a good movie. Good classic movie. Glad to have seen it. Gets to go on my list now of movies I've seen forever, and movies I will continue to remember forever.
You can tell people to watch it. You can tell people to watch it, and you can pretend to be smart.
Yeah, I can slide it into like my pretentious shelf in my brain.
Yeah,
and be like, well, if I want to sound kind of fancy.
Yeah, a foreign film. You can go like, have you seen
a good
this?
Foreign film? Have you seen Charulata? It's from
like
1964. It's an Indian film.
Yeah,
by the director.
Someone goes.
Hold on, let me get the name.
You Google it quickly before you embarrass yourself.
Satyajit Ray.
That's something you load in for when someone goes like, I enjoy movies, and then you go like, oh, have you ever seen this? And you're like, there you go. And he's like, I like Marvel.
Yeah,
like, well,
I'm like, you're probably more of like a Marvel and rom-coms kind. You're kind of more like a Deadpool 3 kind of guy.
Yeah. You punch him.
I get it.
You punch him in the face.
I'm more into stuff like Charulata and Obioba. Have you heard of Obioba? Polish film. That's right. During the Soviet occupation.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. You know. Interesting.
Not some modern Polish film.
Not some modern Polish. I haven't seen a good Polish film in 50 years.
Soviet Union, buddy.
Yeah.
They're not even around anymore.
We really needed that stranglehold on our throats to make good movies. Anyway, I did play one thing I could talk about a little bit to recommend, I guess. I played a game called
PUBG. Better not be, because you were talking about that last week and it was pissing me off.
I love PUBG. I love opening crates. No,
you were like, we should play some PUBG, and I was like, man, shut the fuck up.
I'll play with some other people. You don't play shooters whatsoever. It wasn't me. It wasn't towards you. I like
Marvel Rivals, and you were like, the wrong kind of shooter.
Yeah, exactly.
There's too much skins.
It's too much skins, and
I like
Venom's
Warzone,
ass is too big.
Where I can play as Beavis and Butthead, bro.
Exactly. But I've played a game called Root Trees Are Dead. It's a investigation game, logic game, kind of like what's it called? What do you say? Like snooper? What's it called when you when you investigate things? Snooping. When you're snooping around, right? Sort of thing. It's a game very similar to if you played a game called Case of the Golden Idol. Where you get you kind of get scenarios that you have to kind of slowly work through to solve them, and you kind of, as you complete, fill out certain spaces or like solutions, they get locked in. So you kind of don't have to work out the entire thing in one go. They all get kind of progressively, you lock them in as you get them right? Okay. And Root Trees Are Dead is a game where Root Trees, Jesus Christ, Root Trees. Root Trees Are Dead is a game about kind of taking place in the 90s, and you're a guy investigating like a geological tree, basically, right? That's why it's like geological, right? Where you're trying to work out kind of build relationships of this
like genealogical
tree, where you're investigating the family and trying to basically filling it out basically as your tools are the internet and archives and newspapers and stuff like that, then you're
Let me guess. Let me guess. The big twist: the mother and father cousins, and they didn't know.
There's a lot of fathers and mothers, honestly, in the entire tree.
The main two.
The main two, the patriarchs of the family. I don't know.
The main two.
It feels like that's not going to be the twist. But
I think it's the twist. In fact, I'm not going to play it, and I'm just going to assume that for the rest of the No, don't tell me. Don't spoil it for everybody.
You're just going to take
it. Just because I worked it out.
Mm-hmm. And
keep talking.
It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that you're going to have to just, take that to the grave with you so you don't spoil everybody else. But you can live with the kind of, knowing that you're right?
Mm-hmm. That's how I live every day, baby.
But yeah, and it's a fun investigation game where you follow links, keywords, browse internet, the 90s internet, trying to work out like you get physical evidence that you also can flip through and get information out of. And yeah, if people enjoy games like Case of the Golden Idol, those sort of games, Logic, not even because like they're not spot the difference. Honestly, they're very point and clicky, I guess, if you want to call them that.
Yeah.
I highly recommend it. I haven't finished it yet. I'm very close to finishing it though. So
all right. Well, maybe I'll say maybe finished it. Well, I hope that I didn't spoil it with my expert level int J guess of the twist.
It is unfortunate now. I will not be able to claim that I finished the game without hints because I haven't used any hints, and now you saying that, I'm like, well, fuck.
I just thought you'd finished it.
My perspective has shifted so much now that it without this piece of information, I wouldn't have finished the game. So
I'm sorry.
Well, my achievement is hollow in a way.
What can I say except you're welcome? Remember that song?
Mm-hmm.
Moana.
Yes,
that was a great movie.
So. Yeah,
great flick.
Is there something you wanted to jump off of from Moana?
No, not at all.
Oh, okay. It was
just kind of came
like Dwayne The Rock Johnson, maybe. I don't know.
I thought it'd be like a good little bait and switch because what can I say except sorry, but instead I like a reference, like a good reference.
Is there a song that says sorry?
No, because the song in Moana is like, what can I say except you're welcome?
But I'm just thinking about the idea of like, what sort of song could you say I'm sorry?
That's a good point. I don't know. That's a good question. Are there any good sorry-based songs?
Nobody says sorry enough.
That are like sorry in vibe.
Yeah.
Like the one at the end of Fiddler on the Roof,
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
Where he's crying about his daughter wanting to go off and marry somebody else. But he like understands it, that the death of the tradition has to happen so that his daughter can be happy.
Well, it's a sad movie.
It's a bit sad. Poor Tevye. Anyway, I don't know. I mean, that's all my week. I'm gonna watch Superman tomorrow. I've heard it's good.
Mm-hmm.
Heard it's anti-Zionist, which is interesting. Somebody was like, oh yeah, it's like an anti-Zionist film. And then people were like, that's stupid. And then a couple other people saw it and they were like, actually, it kind of is. And I'm like, I don't understand how.
I feel like you can kind of read anything out of media, but at the same time...
That's what I was thinking. But people were so explicit that I'm almost wondering, because if the movie is explicit with that, I'll be like, that's an interesting direction, Mr. Gunn.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, all that to say, I'm curious. Not that I'm like, yeah, Superman is based. I'm just curious to see what that means. That's the most interesting thing I've heard about the film, I guess. Not that it's that interesting. And there's a song on the soundtrack that sounds like one of the songs from the Robert Pattinson Batman movies.
And wait, so you've listened to it and you know that it sounds like that, or you?
No, it's sort of like
someone told you. that it sounds
I
like
saw
that?
I saw a clip and I was like, this sounds like the music from the Batman movie.
It's like that.
Not like this. Not like the
not that one.
Literal song.
The Nirvana song.
But I mean, like the sound. No, not the literal Nirvana song.
Yeah.
Like the general. the soundtrack, the score.
You're saying
anyway.
it's sad, Superman?
No, I'm just saying that Batman might be in it, or like an allusion to Batman.
Oh, that's true.
Because a lot of people have been wondering if they're gonna link them up. They've been James Gunn, as the new head of DC movies, has been very coy about whether or not they'll link up. You know.
Mm-hmm.
But when they talked about it, people got very into it. They were drawing fan art of the new Superman and Robert Pattinson Batman, like kissing and making out.
And making out.
Lots of fan art, that stuff I saw.
Yeah, I can't wait for our fan art where we're kissing and making out. I don't know. I would be curious about how people would interpret us. Honestly,
a lot of people don't. Oh, like if they just had to guess what we look like.
Yeah, it would be interesting.
This is the thing. When it comes to real people, it's taboo to draw shipping stuff of them. Mm-hmm. That's remember we talked about this the other week. Pro ship.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah,
that's a factor of problematic shipping because you shouldn't do that with real people. They say. I'm not casting judgment one way or the other. I've got no horse in the race. But if people did that to us, it would be weird. It would be weird. I would be weirded out personally.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
A bit like, this is a bit strange. I don't really like the idea of people. Well, you know what? I probably wouldn't care that much. I was just thinking about it there. Yeah, I feel like I'd have a similar thing where it's like, whatever. This isn't consent to do that though. Just as a heads up.
I would just be interested in what people would draw. That's what I'm interested in.
Yeah, it would. That's more interesting. Is how would people interpret who we are based on this and what we talk about.
I wonder how ripped I would be because I'm so ripped in real life.
We just consistently get drawn as like two 600-pound people sitting in a chair, drinking big Pepsis.
We have those hats with like the cans on the side. Drinking Pepsi.
And we had like Confederate t-shirts for some reason.
Oh yeah, Confederate t-shirts.
Yeah, these people are definitely like specifically like Southern American racist.
I'm pretty sure we're multiple times we said that we live in Britain.
No, I know, that's why it would be weird if they did.
Yeah,
if they were like they just had that energy.
But that's the thing, right? I guess if you don't let people know, right, then you're allowing that open field for them to just do whatever they want in a way, right?
I get what you're saying.
You can't
The thumbnail for this episode is going to be both of our faces, for real.
Yeah,
don't
for
worry.
Real this time.
Yeah, don't worry. I read you loud and clear.
Mm-hmm.
The thumbnail for this episode will be our two real faces.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Truly. They will be
of course. There. All right. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Sure.
And that way we can curtail any misconception.
Yeah. You have reference pictures for your fan art.
I do. So if you're listening to this part of the episode right now and you've seen the thumbnail, go back and double check it because you'll be like, that's who those faces were.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, now I understand. All right.
Yeah.
That's the end of the episode, though. Thanks for listening to Dead Ensigns. We're back. Not that we stopped, really. We're just generally back.
We're forcing ourselves to do this.
In a way, I guess. Are you forcing yourself? I'm not forcing myself.
No, I'm just saying that it's like not the ideal situation for me to record, but
usually.
Yeah.
Generally.
Not the most comfortable, like I'm in the trenches right now, recording this.
Be fine. That'd be an interesting place to do a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Like World War III goes back to like trench warfare for some reason.
Yeah, you gotta do. I think we already have examples of that's what the modern warfare looks like. Is they're just people living in the trench again?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we know how modern warfare looks. That's what it looks like. Mm-hmm. It's a trench again.
I mean, like World War I style, to the T. you know. Like, it doesn't look World War One style now, right?
I guess.
Don't they fight in the air with drones as well?
Yeah, I know, but they're still
trenches.
building. They're digging trenches, a lot of
Why
trenches.
are we still talking? This has been Dead Ensigns, #1 podcast for whatever the hell you're thinking of right now. I've been Ben. This has been Max. You want to say goodbye?
Bye. I thought you say bye first, and then because you always say bye first, and I say bye afterwards.
That's a good point.
And we never synchronize on these things, and then you go like, you expect certain things of me, and I'm like, I thought that was a particular established thing. Yeah.
Let me debut my rewind sound effect. Okay, let's rewind that. Then we give that one more take. Yeah. Better.
I guess pretty good. Maybe we can sell it.
Yeah, put it on a sound effects CD. If you'd like to listen to more of the podcast, you can go to Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube. We're on all of those places. At this point, I can just say it for all of them, because all of them have the ability to like, subscribe, and also comment now. So, so you go to any of them and do any of that stuff. It's much appreciated. If you don't want to leave a comment on any of those places, though, you can email us deadensigns@gmail.com. deadensigns@gmail.com. Thank you for listening. See you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.
It's shorted out, sir. We're gonna have to phaser it.
Then what are you waiting for?
Right away, sir.
Faster would be better, Ensign.
I can't, sir. We don't want to...
That's enough.
But, sir...
Stand aside, Carlton. I'm going through. You're alive. Good.